What is going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday of the Wednesday, Tuesday. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Yeah, the sling threw me off there. But welcome into this episode of the Ryan Ripken Show, February 11th. We got a lot to kind of dive into. If you're seeing and you're watching right now, Zach's in a sling because spring training has started.
Yeah.
And officially, players are injured. And not just in Baltimore, across the league, but there are 2 injuries in Baltimore, significant ones that we will discuss. And then on top of it, the later part of the show, if you guys saw on X and you see on Instagram, we talked to John Harbaugh just over an hour or so ago. And so we're going to play that full interview for the show for you right here on the Ryan Ripken Show. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. And Zach, you're actually not injured, correct?
No, I'm not. But it's first day of spring training. Injuries, you're not injured one day, you are the next. It's just how it works in the baseball world. Don't have to report injuries. It's a little uncomfortable. But don't have to report injuries until they show up. So it's like the most dreaded time of the year for baseball fans because you're so excited. You're like, wow, the boys are back. Like you're seeing Adley walk in. You're getting all these notifications. Pete is in the building. Kyle Bradish, Dean Kramer, all the guys are back. And you're like, this is so great. And then the general manager starts talking and you realize maybe it ain't all what it appeared to be. So, yeah, happy injury day. The past, 24 hours, and it's going to be for another 24 hours as more teams join. I've seen a lot of Yankee fans dreading the conversation of Cashman and Boone in the next coming hours as well. But everyone's injured. Happy. Welcome back to baseball season. Like you tweeted out, everyone's always healthy for a day at least.
Wolf, man. For a day is legit. I wish I was kidding, but that's the reality. And for a lot of teams, right? It's, I guess you're going to be positive with this. It's better. It's right now, but it's not news you want to hear regardless. So again, new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We're live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook, and we are on Spotify and Apple and wherever you get your podcast. But here's the deal, Zach. Let's get into these injuries because this is still like the downtime for us, but it's not fully. So why don't we address if people are trying to put together what is going on and what we're fully talking about. So around baseball, camps kicked off this week. And then Mike Elias talked to the media today down in Sarasota. And news broke that let's start with the bad news first. The bad news. Jackson Holliday has a broken hamate bone in his right hand. So for those that are wondering, it's a common injury for guys that swing. You swing, the bone breaks. Mm-hmm. And he's going to get surgery tomorrow, but Michael Elias said that Jackson will now miss opening day. He suffered the injury, not in the offseason. He suffered it during live batting practice 5 days ago, and his timeline will be measured in weeks. So for that case, right off the bump, that's a bummer. It's a bummer because Jackson had a really strong offseason. He was excited, trying to take that next step, young and upcoming player. I hate the fact that he's going to have to be behind the 8 ball, Zach, because even though he'll get his reps, they're not going to rush him back. Mm-hmm. The problem here is that his spring training, in some cases, that game intensity, he's going to have to be thrown to the fire because when he's having his moments of spring training reps, it's going to be against a different level of guys down there at the complex compared to guys getting ready for the big league season. And then you're going into a season where those pitchers are really rounding into form by the time he's going to get rocking and rolling. So I'm glad that he will be healthy otherwise, but it still is not what you want out the gate.
No, and I'm not going to wish injury upon anyone. I hate when anyone is injured. But if it's a veteran who's been there, done that, you feel a little bit more. You're like, okay, stinks. They're going to be behind the 8 ball. But that's life. That's baseball. Injuries happen. With it being Jackson Holliday, you're even it's a little bit harder to swallow even then, because you're like, man, he's looking for a bounce back campaign. He's looking to take that next step in his career that he's talked to us about. He's talked to everyone publicly about. He's like, hey, I know the player I can be. I'm just trying to get better and show the world that, yeah, I can be this player and that I'm on track to be that player. And I thought that this season was going to be a massive, and still could be. Listen, yes, he's going to miss the beginning part of the year, probably the first month. Baseball's a long season. He's going to get his at-bats. He could still play in 130, 140 games. I'm not taking that away. But you felt, like you said, now suddenly his spring training is occurring while other guys have already been there, done that. Okay, you're coming up to the majors. Yes, you got some work in at the complex, but you're coming to the majors. These guys are starting to get in their rhythm. They've had spring training. They're now a few weeks into the season. They have a routine. They know how they're feeling. It puts you behind the eight ball, like you said, and that just sucks for a guy like Jackson Holliday, that you felt at 22 years old, he's coming into his own. The confidence is getting back. He's growing. Like, I think we forget that at times with some of these insanely young prospects. They are still growing. At 22 years old, last offseason, we talked all about the ground beef. He's bulking up. He's getting stronger. That strength is still adding on, and it just sucks that now he's going to have to start the season, instead of hoping to hit the ground running and be like, hey, I'm going to prove to everyone I can do this. He's going to have to get back into a rhythm, back into a routine, and just kind of fight a little bit harder to start the year. And that's just unfortunate for a guy that I think everyone, including himself, was really hoping to leave a stamp on this season.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's just disappointing. It's disappointing because of all that work that we were talking about, right? And but it's a good reminder. With youth, you can recover a little bit quicker. And also a reminder that Jackson is going to be okay in the long run. This is not this is not a uncommon thing that happens to hitters. There's nothing he specifically did. It happened, right? It's over. It's happened. He'll get it fixed. He'll be back and rolling. But this does explain a lot more than Zach of, all right, when we're talking about with depth and why you need more depth and why it is so important to have depth. Well, people were thinking, well, that's the reason why they traded for Blaze Alexander, right? Oh, that's the reason they made this trade. Well, not exactly here, right? So Blaze was traded for the day before Jackson got hurt, I believe. I think was out there. So the other reason why they wanted maybe a little bit more depth, they needed a utility guy, but there's another infielder that's banged up in Baltimore. That's Jordan Westburg right there. Jacob Calvin-Meyer tweeted out that Westburg has a right oblique injury. Elias said he's turned the corner and he's expected to be ready for opening day. He might miss the beginning of the Grapefruit League play, but should ramp up after that. So, look, this is why I preach depth about everything. Because remember a few years ago when Corbin Burns was traded and everyone's going, damn, Kyle Bradish, Corbin Burns, Grayson Rodriguez, they're going to be humming. And guess what? Two of those three guys had an injury-riddled season. It was Grayson and Kyle was the one that was actually hurt in the offseason. So, Zach, the Westy thing, short-term, he is going to be A-okay. He is. No. I know a lot of people are going, great, Westy's hurt already. Obliques, they're tricky. You want to make sure you take care of it now. And I hope that he only misses a little bit of time, because he's a guy I want to get as many reps with the bat as possible. Because I don't care what people say. Gunnar last year, if you look at his numbers, Gunnar came back. And, yeah, he played fine last year. But make no mistake, having the oblique and trying to figure it out on the fly and get comfortable, that took time. That took months. And then that's something that the Orioles don't need. But long-term, Zach, Westburg will be fine. 100% he's going to be okay. But Blaze Alexander, this is the reason why you need a utility guy. This is the reason why you need more depth on your team, because injuries are going to happen. And we thought maybe it was going to be more on the pitching side to start. That's not a matter of if, it's a when. But position players right now, that's what the Orioles are doing. 2 everyday guys for them are dealing with injuries out the gate.
Yeah, and with the Westburg thing, like you said, it's disappointing for Westy because he should be back, but it's the lingering effect of an oblique injury and how that can hurt guys throughout the season. And just kind of, even if it's not there, it's there. It's still something they think about. It's something that maybe feels a little off. And even this slightly feeling off can really impact the way you're swinging a bat and stuff like that. So for Westburg, I'm going to say it. I don't care if he misses all of spring training. I know they said, he might miss some Grapefruit League action. I know he is clamoring to get out there. We saw videos of him running sprints today. He is doing everything he can to get back as fast as possible. But for me, it's about, hey, Wesley, I want you at 110%. I'd rather you be a little behind the 8 ball to start the year, but you're feeling good the rest of the year and you're not thinking about it. This is still spring training. And listen, we put a lot into spring training because it is a great opportunity, not numbers into spring training. Those don't matter, contrary to popular belief. But the physical act of being at spring training, getting the body ready, getting those reps in is very important. But for me, Jordan Westburg right now, he's hitting the big leagues. He's been that everyday player. He knows what it's like. I'm not worried about him like I am with the Jackson Holliday of like, okay, he's trying to take that step. We know who he is. My biggest concern is it's all about health for Jordan. Make sure he is 1,000% healthy. That oblique is 1,000% before he starts pushing it, because I'd rather Westy miss a week in April and kind of struggle in April, trying to get his feet underneath him, trying to work through things you work through in spring training. I'd rather him do that, but he's 1,000% healthy than he's pushing it at 95% coming back halfway through spring. And this is something as the season goes on, it's just lingering more and more. That's my biggest concern. But, get these guys healthy. I've seen some people talk about, I'm not concerned about Jackson Holliday's hand long-term. It's a very common injury. It's, for me, with Westburg, it's just making sure he's 1,000% healthy because, man, you added Alonso, you have Gunnar, you got Taylor Ward, you got Tyler O'Neill, who I know people are not the happiest with, but he is still an RBI guy, a bopper. We want protection around these top guys, the Westburgs, the Hollidays, and it starts with them being healthy. So that's the biggest thing is get healthy. We talked about it before. The season is a marathon. There are 162 of these. This isn't football where if you miss 5 games, you've missed a third of the season, and now we're concerned. Take your time. The point is to get healthy because we need this team firing all cylinders for the full 162 and not just, we got to rush these guys back to try to get something out of the first week and a half of the season.
And that's a big emphasis I want to put on there, Zach. The big emphasis here. And you know what, Zach, for our vertical listeners, come closer. Oh. The bigger part with all of this is the only time that you can try to get right. The only time. Mm-hmm. Because once the season starts, everyone will tell you, 162, you are never going to be 100% healthy from here on out. And even for these guys, Jackson and Jordan, they could be as close to 100%, but now that they're starting their day-to-day of being there and being acclimated, this is the closest they can get to feeling the best that they possibly can.
Yeah.
Once the season starts, it's a battle. And I know I saw some questions about Zach Eflin there, and hopefully everything's going to be good to go with Eflin. But Zach last year, that's why I said you got to throw out the stats for him during the season. Once he got hurt, he tried to come back early because the team was struggling, which was selfless for him to do it, and he got hurt again. But that's an example. Eflin got hurt, and I'm sitting there going, man, he's not going to be right the rest of the way. And most pitchers, Zach, typically when people are banged up, they are going to be dealing with it the rest of the year. Go look at it. It's a part of it. And every player would be lying if they said, I came back and I'm fully 100%. They might feel that they're 100%, but their body's going to tell them otherwise as soon as you start getting in the rhythm that you are not that. And that is why we call it a grind in the major leagues and around professional baseball. It's a grind for that reason. In the minor leagues, because that's what I like, for me specifically, Zach, it's 140-game season.
Yeah.
Same thing, though. You're in spring training, you go, there it is. It's done. And however you feel, it don't matter. I had the oblique injury myself. I missed 6 weeks in 2019. And I felt pretty good, like, physically, mentally. When I got back into it, I was reminded I wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
And that's just because
for you, what was the hardest part about returning from an oblique injury? For someone who's literally dealt with it in the same situation of you got to get back on the field and produce, what was the biggest challenge for you?
Biggest challenge was trusting that everything's okay. Mm-hmm. And then trusting the fact that it's going to feel weird for the first amount of time. So, like, I'll tell you this. I remember I had to take some batting practice or try to take some BP before I went down to Florida to rehab, and I was in Fred. And when I was swinging, I felt this tug. And I'm like, it doesn't feel right. And our trainer was saying, hey, you're good. Like, I promise you, it's not going to go, but you just got to get comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. And I went down to the complex then, and I was swinging the bat. I had one hit, then I hit a double off the wall, humble brag. And when I hit that double, it was kind of like, ooh, that kind of hurt. But they were right. I was fine. So maybe there was a mental side to it. Yes, I feel a physical piece of that. So it just lingers in the back of your mind. And what do you need to have as a hitter? A clear mind. You don't want to be thinking subconsciously about what's wrong, because subconsciously you could then alter what your swing is. And so that's the biggest concern that I have, is that hitters can say I'm 100% locked in, but we're human. The subconscious part of it is you might still change something if you don't feel right. And that's just the human nature of it all. So,
I mean, Ryan, to your point, I mean, it's that trust thing, because let's say even going into it, I mean, we talk about baseball so much and just how much of a mental game it is as much as it is physical. If you go up to the plate, let's say Westburg goes up to the plate and suddenly, he's hacking, he's doing his thing, and just the slightest, hesitation in his head of like, I really hope this doesn't give on this swing, not feeling comfortable. And he's thinking that during an at-bat, just that slight little doubt, that's the difference between center fastball, you're putting one in the gap and you pop it up, because it's that slight hesitation of like, do I want to go that hard? I don't want to feel anything pop. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, is he might feel close to 100%, but it is that mental hurdle. And that's why I keep saying I'm okay if he misses a ton of time in spring training, because the most important thing we have for Westy is we need you out there, and we need Jordan Westburg, the producer, out there for as long as we can this year, because we've seen the difference in the lineup. Same group of guys when Westburg is in there versus when he's not. It feels like he just rolls over the lineup better than anyone else.
He is, in my mind, not going to say he is the best Oriole, but you can make the case.
Glue.
But I've told you this, Zach. There was executives down at the winter meetings that asked me, said, "Am I crazy to think that Jordan Westburg is the Orioles' best player?" And I said, "No, you're not crazy for thinking that, but I'm still going to take Gunnar. Gunnar's skill set, what he can do, but most valuable to his team for what he embodies as a leader and what he's done. Yeah, you're talking about glue. It is Jordan Westburg right now." And I think that's the part that we got to understand. And to wrap that up with Westy, he's played 107 games, is the most he's played in the last 3 years, right? That's what the numbers have to go up. Now, his first year, he was just going into the big leagues. He was there, and he was just going to be a part of whatever they asked him to do. The next year, his first year as being a starter, he was an all-star. And he got hit in the wrist, and that was unfortunate, and that ended such a promising year for him, where he came, battling back, but what could have been a really great end of the year for him. And then last year, obviously, he was injured from the start and so many uphill battles. But that's a guy that's going to make a huge impact for this team. So I'm excited to see Westy. I am excited to see Jackson get healthy. But, Zach, this is what happens here, and this is why I knock on wood, and this is why I still think it is so important. And I wonder, with all this happening, and I know Michael I is saying he likes his rotation, and he should, I still think you need one more guy. You need to make it more comfortable. And we've already talked about this.
Yeah.
We didn't even have the tweet up right now, but I also don't want to flip-flop roles for guys. That's a worry for me, where I'm seeing Tyler Wells is going to come in as a starter. Chase McDermott's going to be a reliever. And again, if that's
love it for Chase. Love that for Chase.
It's going to be that for them. If that's fully their role for the year, so be it. But then we need to make sure that they are prepared to stay in that, because not everyone can flip the switch, Zach. I've told you this. It's really hard when guys, especially in that role, it's hard to do. And that's why Albert Suarez, what he did 2 years ago, when I say it was one of the more impressive things I've seen, I meant it. And not saying his journey to get back to the big leagues and the professional baseball is the fact that he went from any role in the bullpen to starting games, and not just starting. He would go 5 innings into a ball game. That to me is rare. That's not normal. So you do not want to have to tap into the depth that you have at this moment. You want to make sure the guys that you have are set in their roles, and then you add what you need as necessary. And there's still options out there. That's why I bring it up. There's still options out there.
Yeah, and I mean, Ryan, it's like you said, like Michael, I don't think Michael Ash lied. I really like the rotation too, and I think every player, every GM in baseball, for the most part, would love their rotation if you told them it was going to be healthy the entire year. But when you like, if you want to go just 1 through 5, Orioles got a decent rotation. But I hate to break it to people, you're not going to just have 5 starters go all year. You need depth. Injuries are going to happen, whether it's long-term or short-term. That's why you felt more comfortable if they went and got a top-end guy. That's why you felt better about that, because you're like, okay, we have another guy. If one goes down, we still have more top-end guys. Now you're kind of looking for depth, and you're going to need depth. So, like, did Michael Elias lie when he said he likes the rotation? No, because if you promised him everyone would be healthy, I'm sure he would love how the rotation looks. But the fact of the matter is, Bradish coming off an injury still. Last year, yes, he fought back, and but this is his first full off season after that. Still come back. You're hoping Trevor Rogers, and he has said that he has not gotten any talks about an extension. We can get into that maybe at a different show. There are a lot of question marks. Eflin coming off the IR from last year. He's still trying to feel 100%. Obviously, now we see Tyler Wells. I agree with you. Can Tyler Wells be a damn good starter? Yeah, but I think you need him in the bullpen right now, because I think he can be a really damn good bullpen piece for you. And the worst case scenario is you keep flip-flopping him and put him at a bad spot. So, yeah, and I see in the comments, Shane Boz, another guy, love this stuff. Injury history. You need depth, because people are going to get hurt. It's not an if, it's a when. And it's like that for every single team in Major League Baseball. Depth is what wins you the games over the 162. Like, we can talk about, they need the frontline guy who, can get the ball in game 1, get the ball in game 2, get the ball in game 3. Yeah, you need those guys. But in order to go a full 162, that's why before last season, I talked about how much I loved the Morton signing. I thought the Orioles were built for 162 last year. Right. I didn't know about the playoffs because they didn't have that frontline guy.
Yeah.
But I thought depth-wise, and it was tested, and it didn't work out great, but I thought depth-wise they were set up well for the full 162. Right now, because of that lack of depth after 1 through 5, like, yes, Povich is there, Wells is there if you need him, Suarez is there, but you'd rather have those guys know their roles and bring in a Giolito, someone like that, to at least have that backup there, that option of, hey, go, we can rely on this guy, and it's not the question mark of Cade Povich or, okay, well, obviously Chase McDermott now, or, Trey Gibson, these younger guys coming up. There's less question marks. I think you need another solid depth piece that you'll feel good about.
And I want to emphasize this, and I truly do mean this, and people might not agree. The Orioles right now, with what they have enough to have an extremely strong regular season. And I want to emphasize that. This team right now can win the American League East. You might think I'm crazy with that. You might. But don't look at what I'm saying. Look at what history has shown. The Blue Jays were a bottom third pitching ERA team last year, but they were the number one hitting team. The Orioles were the best team in the American League in 2023, but if you were to tell me that they had this super ultra staff to start the year, you'd be lying to yourself. It's about situational execution. Now, as the season goes on and you want to win a championship now, and you want to get to that level, which is where everybody wants to see the team go, that's where you're going to have to be aggressive with going to get more pieces. And you're playing with fire if something goes wrong. And I think that is the biggest part here, Zach. Bradish, and I went on a rant last night. I'm not going to say if anymore. Kyle Bradish is on the bump. I'm just telling you, he is going to dominate. I will put him against almost any other top-end starter. Not saying that he's better than Skubal or Skeens, but I'm telling you, he's got to go toe-to-toe. I'm going to feel damn good about Kyle Bradish. I don't think people recognize how special he is, and I mean that.
Yeah.
I've watched it, and I've had a lot of oh shit moments being around special players. Bradish has it. What fans worry about, well, what if these guys can't stay healthy? You're right. And if the guys don't stay healthy again, you know what they're going to have to look at? Why aren't we helping our pitchers stay healthy? Because it's more than just their off-season programs. This is about how we're helping them stay healthy during the season. Yeah. And so we're going to have to cross that bridge when we get here. But you got to trust right now with what they have and the staff that's in place, you got to let them go out and see what happens. Now, personally, I would like one more arm because the track record in the minors, while there's so much talent, they haven't developed pitchers to get to the big leagues and have success. They just haven't.
It's a fact. It's just a fact.
That's why bringing in somebody else. But I'm going to emphasize this. You look around at what they can do. This team in Baltimore can make noise. So we're not going to jump to the panic, but we are going to be real of saying depth will keep you afloat, and being aggressive when you have to make moves is what it's going to take you from being a strong team to a contending team. So I think that's fair to say, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying, hey, they're World Series. No, they can have a strong team. At the time, they're going to have to be aggressive to be a contending team. But for right now, it's just I'm going to hold my breath, and I'm going to clench a table when Dino pitches in the World Baseball Classic. I'm going to be a little bit nervous for all those guys in the spring because people are going to feel like they're going to be walking on eggshells if one of those guys gets hurt. And I will bubble wrap. I will give them my elbow. My elbow's terrible, Zach, but I will give that to the boys. But you just got to trust that everything's going to be okay. And there are certain things that you can't control. You can't control Jackson's injury. It is what it is. But what you can control is how you're going to play the game of baseball. Because one thing that we can all agree on, the Orioles got to get back to playing Oriole baseball. And they got to get back to playing Orioles baseball and figure out the Craig Albernaz way to playing Orioles baseball. That's the focus.
And Ryan, maybe this is one final thing about this. I feel so much more confident with these injuries because of Craig Albernaz. And people can sit there and be like, okay, why does the manager make you feel better about these injuries that are happening? I don't know if you watched, for those listening, watch the Guardians last year. They put up with a lot of BS. They had people, their top bullpen arms. How about kicked out of the league halfway through your season? How about top guys going on injured list? How about, let's just call it what it is, not the most talented lineup in the world outside of Steven Kwan and Jose Ramirez, but they found a way to work and make it work and win ball games, make it to the playoffs because of what you said, Ryan. They had the way. They knew what they had to do, and I think Albernaz brings that. He's going to sit there and go, okay, we don't have Westy, we don't have Jackson the first few weeks. Let's just say that. You know, Westy might be back, all that. But let's just say we don't have them a few weeks. Albernaz has seen and had to do in real time, how did we just find a way to win a game? Because no one cares in September when you look back at games in April and go, man, that was an ugly win. Oh, they didn't dominate any team. They just went out there and they had to bunt at the end to get a guy, and they won on a sac fly. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
We saw last year, losses in the beginning count the exact same as losses at the end. Go win games. And I think Albernaz is the perfect guy to kind of come in here and establish that, oh, guys are hurt, good. Let's win without them. And that way, when they're back, we're going to be even better because of it.
No one gives a shit if you're hurt. They don't. When you play around baseball, they don't. So that's why during the season, when I'm more positive, I guess people say on X, of saying no one feels bad for your injuries in the sport. They might go, oh, damn, we're banged up. Well, tough shit. Go play. That and that's how you have to view it. And one more thing, I'm going to finish my rant for Kyle Bradish here, and we're going to move on. Okay, Zach, you know this answer, I believe, but Kyle Bradish last year, his ERA was a 2.53 in the small sample size of what he pitched, and he had a 2.75 ERA the previous year in the 8 games. So half a season, he had about a 2.55, maybe 2.6 ERA. Just say 2.55 for this exercise, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where do you think that would have ranked Kyle Bradish in a full season?
I'm going to say 7th.
7th, okay. And also, people were saying, well, go back to his last full season. He had a 2.83 ERA in 30 games when he pitched for the Baltimore Orioles and finished in the Cy Young running to win that year. Zach, if we put him at a 2.55 ERA, that would put him 6th best in baseball. The guys that would have been ahead of him
so close
was Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, Hunter Brown, Yamamoto, Christopher Sanchez. Okay? You want to know who he'd be ahead of? Well, I'll tell you. Garrett Crochet, ace for the Red Sox. Freddie Peralta, ace traded from the Brewers to the Mets. Max Fried, ace pitcher for the New York Yankees. Nick Pivetta, who was top 5 in the Cy Young last year in the National League. Carlos Rodon, another big piece for the New York Yankees. Joe Ryan, Logan Webb, Luis Castillo, Kevin Gausman, Brian Wu. Should I keep going with this list?
No,
Dylan Cease, Jesus Luzardo. What's going through this list right there? Mitch Keller. I mean, I could continue to go on, and there's so many names because that's how good he is.
Yeah.
So I want the Orioles to get another pitcher, but put some respect on Bradish. I'm telling you, man, if he goes out and sucks, then, dude, I'll wear it, and then I'll blame Bradish. I'll call him up and say, dude, why are you stinking up the joint? But I'm telling you, man, I don't think that people realize how damn good Kyle Bradish is. And I hope that we get to see that this year, because if you do, this Oriole team with him on the bump truly can go toe-to-toe with any team. That is how special he is. And I digress. Thank you for my TED Talk.
And real fast, I saw people asking about why Albie didn't bring up injuries yesterday. He didn't have to. Today was, I believe, because they officially were workouts. This was the first day that they had to tell people about injuries. And as we know, they don't tell things unless people need to know or they have to. And also I saw some things about, earlier in the season with the AL East and stuff. One, I hate, all games mean the same. All teams are good. Orioles have a favorable beginning of the schedule. They need to take advantage of that. So it sucks that the guys are going to be missing early on, but this is a manageable schedule that the Orioles need to take advantage of and go out there and win some ball games, put themselves ahead of the 8 ball. Because we saw last year, we talked to Ryan O'Hearn just a few weeks ago, and he said, I'll be honest, it just became too big to climb out. Like, we were grinding. We tried everything, but we got dug too deep in the hole early on. Just avoid that. Get above the 8 ball, or stay above 500. They can be above 500 at the end of April, which they should be. Yeah. It's a marathon. Just stay with it. All you got to do is get in the dance.
Yeah, and one more thing I want to say, and then I'll be done with the Kyle Bradish thing, because one thing that irritates the hell out of me, and I see saying Grady's got a pitch, Mouse Talk, I see your comments. How about this? When you're talking about a guy that balled out, Kyle should have not pitched in 2024. He made the choice to try to help the ball club, and he knew he was going to have to get surgery. He knew it. So he could have sat out 2024, and he would have been ready to rock and roll all healthy last year. But he knew he wanted to try to win for a team. So when I talk about mentality and a guy that will push through shit, and I'm fired up about that, I know what he'll push through. And I know he is not an injury-prone guy. And I hope it doesn't blow up. And if it does, then screw me. You know what? I'm cool with that. I am. And I know it's not about loving the players. I know the guys, you're passionate about your team, but I just want to give you guys insight into what I know about certain players. And I can't tell you how much Kyle Bradish wanted to help that team in 2024 and how much it sucked for him to know he was dealing and realizing at any moment that elbow could go, and it did. So I want to emphasize on that. That was to help that team in 2024. He did it, and they made a choice. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. When he pitched, he was lights out, but it was a ticking time bomb. So I want to emphasize on that. There was a reason why he was on that report IL in 2024 going to spring training, Zach. And it's a perfect theme to end this as we go into the Harbaugh conversation. They knew that going in. Mm-hmm. They knew that. And when he's saying you're never going to be 100% healthy when you're already banged up, that's a prime example. And I'll leave it at that. All right? So I'm hoping. And I'll just say this. I didn't mention Trevor Rogers' name on that list. If Trevor Rogers is 100% of what he was last year, he will have the best ERA in baseball. If Trevor Rogers was 80% or 90% of what he was last year, he'll be a top 10 pitcher in baseball next year. That's how crazy it can be. But I want to emphasize on this with those guys. There's no excuse this year for anybody. And they know that. I know that. The fans know that because you know what? What I love about this fan base, Zach, in Baltimore, what I love about this group, they care about baseball. We had Scott Garceau on the other day, Hall of Fame voter, broadcaster for the Orioles. And Scott told a story about 1988, I believe was the year. It was my uncle or my grandfather was the manager. Got fired after 6 games. The Orioles ended up losing 15 more in a row to be 0-21. There was fan appreciation when that team was 0-17 or coming back home. Yeah. And you know what the Baltimore fan base did? They sold out the damn place. Even with the team, when they came back, had 1 victory on the season and had an historic run, 0-21 to start that year. And the Baltimore fan base came out in droves. Because you know why? Baltimore fans love their fucking baseball team. So I know. I want this fan base to have a championship. I know that they're going to get one here at some point. So when I talk about this, know that this comes from a place of I see your passion. And I also know that these guys are trying to bring that back. Because Baltimore is a great football town, but damn it, dude, the Baltimore and their fan base, not just in the area, around the world, it's a very proud group. And it runs deep. So that's what I got to say. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. So was a curse when mom was in the chat. Well, she's heard me say fuck. She gets it. Sorry, Mom.
I love it. Fire.
Earmuffs.
It's baseball season. It's something like you said, Baltimore, it's a baseball town with a football problem. At its roots, it's a baseball town. So it's all about everyone just wants, that's the thing I always try to tell fans and everything. It's like fan the way you want, because at the end of the day, everyone in Baltimore wants the same thing. You might think it's different. They have to do it differently to get to that goal. But at the end of the day, every single person in Baltimore wants the Baltimore Orioles to hoist that World Series trophy. That's it. That's what everyone wants. Everyone has the same goal. Everyone wants the same thing for the team. Some people may think, oh, you have to do this. Other people say, no, you have to do this. Build through the draft, build through free agency, whatever it is. Everyone wants this team to win. That's plain and simple. So it's a baseball town. Love it. And I'm excited. We still got all the spring training. We got like 200 games for the O's still ahead of us. I mean, we are just beginning, baby.
We got a lot. And here's the thing. So our goal here in the Ryan Ripken Show, we hope to continue to go more national. But we're always going to have the roots here in the Maryland region. Why? Because we're from here. So that's always going to be that backbone for us. But then, we will still have people connected to Maryland and beyond, and they go off to other places. So we're excited about what we have for spring training. That could be some other Maryland connections that went elsewhere, and also give you baseball coverage. So when you want to go watch the game, whether it's about Baltimore or any team, we think you should stop by here and get all that info. But not just that, we think you should stop by for football, Zach, because guess what? We've had a great last couple months. We have. It's been tremendous. Shout out Ryan Chell for also helping us continue to get this. We want to try to give you guys insights and knowledge and give you some fantastic guests. And yeah, I think that we're not too bad either, but that's what we're trying to provide here in the media landscape. And so we talked about it a while ago, and it was going to take some time, but we got it done, and we knew it was going to happen. He's no longer in Baltimore, but he's got the Maryland connection. We got a chance to talk with head coach of the New York Football Giants, John Harbaugh, today. So, Zach, before we play that, if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this live. But we are going to play the full 15-minute interview right here on the show in this moment. Am I missing anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Well, actually, one more thing. Yeah, no, we'll save the last little fun part for Bradish at the end. I forgot about that. We'll add that part in. But we appreciate you guys' patience. And without further ado, here is the full sit down with former Ravens head coach and now current head coach of the New York Football Giants, John Harbaugh. Zach, let's play that clip. We were joking right before. I still am getting used to this color. It is a good color on you, Coach. That's blue. Blue brings out your brown eyes.
Thank you very much. You said it brought out my eyes, but then I pointed out it brings out my brown eyes. There's different shades of blue. This is the lighter blue jacket that I got. They have the good gear, got a nice logo, and very proud to be wearing the big blue. Very excited about it, and the guys, the coaches, the players, the organization. You know, Ryan, how it is. It's just it's an opportunity that I'm thrilled about. Really love the people and what's in front of us, man. I'm ready for the next leg of the journey. Ready and willing, and we already been digging in. I've talked to lots of coaches. You build a staff. It's tough, and Ravens found that out too. It's part of the process, but it's a lot of fun too because you get to talk to so many coaches. You realize how many great coaches there are out there, and just trying to put it together like a puzzle so it fits the best.
We had Todd Monken on, oh gosh, right, after the season, a little bit after the season, and he was joking, he goes, I don't even know if John's ever going to hire me again. And this is when all the reports are out there. And then, Todd, I guess, has to become a head coach himself, and head up to Cleveland. And it's the business, right? The thing that's crazy for me is all I've known since I was 14 was you in Baltimore. So it's just it's an exciting chapter, which I want to get into in a moment. Did it feel like 18 years when the time went? Because I still remember because you still look super young because you're getting up still at 4. You're not stopping the workouts, right?
Thank you.
Are you still doing the workouts at 4 a.m.?
Yeah. Then it's crazy because I'm not the first guy in there, which is incredible, man. They got a bunch of early risers here. A lot of traffic here. They get in early, but it hasn't felt like 18 years. I mean, it feels like about 18 minutes, 18 days, 18 months, maybe 18 months. Maybe that's what it feels like. I mean, so much is wrapped up into a football season, even a football game. People come back and they'll tell me stories. Remember when this happened? Remember that play? Remember this situation? I'm like, man, sometimes I was like, I don't really remember it, to be honest with you, because so many other things have happened. I'd like to have someday, pearly gates, I guess I'll get to see a review of the whole thing. But that's what's exciting, is a chance to kind of keep rolling. But it was the best 18 years. It was a career. It was a life. It was just wonderful friendships, great relationships, players, coaches, people in the building who I love, always will. Friends, so many friends, the Ripkens. I mean, come on, man. I got to be friends with your family. Got to sit a baseball game with Cal Ripken. He called me off a foul ball. just for the record to make sure we know the story on that. But yep, it's true. Sort
I
of,
was gonna say that
sort of true.
the communication was poor on that video.
Yeah, it was, but you could say it was good too because no glove, cricket, ball coming down back at you. It might have been a smart decision at the end of the day. I don't know, but I'm just that's an example of how just great everything was, and I'm proud of it, happy for it, no regrets, ready to move forward.
With that being said, because this is kind of, I'll wrap it in, and we'll head on to the next chapter here with New York. But when I look at this, the body of work for you, not many can say they're going to be coaching now, head coach for almost 2 decades. Like, that's the pace that you're on right now. So you see things that others don't from that lens. You've also gotten to see the evolution of people like Mike Macdonald now going to win a Super Bowl. You've seen then Jesse Minter now who's in Baltimore, but he was a part of your staff. It was almost like a little reunion. I had Gary Kubiak on, and Kubiak said him coming to Baltimore to work with you and the organization was so impactful for him. And then he went to Denver and won the Super Bowl there. With some of those guys, maybe just because of the recency with Mike Mack and Minter, how does that make you feel seeing them go on? And obviously they're having success or having these opportunities because of their great skill set. But what's something that people should know that you've seen from your eyes under your coaching tree all these years?
Right. Well, you don't think of it when you're in the hunt. It's just, it was always about being the best we could be in any given moment. And bringing Gary on board in 2014 was incredible. What a great football coach, and what a great year we had on offense. And, Mike is, just out of college, brought him in because we really were impressed with him and thought, man, this guy could add something to us right now. We weren't thinking necessarily that he was going to be a Super Bowl winning head coach, but you didn't think he couldn't, And Jesse Minter, I've known him since he was 10, 11 years old. For 3 years, he followed me around like every day. I feel like, he was like attached to the hip, but he was a coach's kid. Like Jim and I did the same thing with our dad because I coached for his dad at Cincinnati, and he was there every day. And then when I left and went to Indiana, the guy that took my job was Mike Tomlin, So he was with Mike Tomlin for another year. Mike was there for a year, then he went to the NFL. And I was at Indiana for a year and went to the NFL. So it was just like, man, this kid, it's in his DNA, and not just that, but he's smart. He works hard. He's got great people skills. He's had success. Went to Vanderbilt, went to Michigan, out to the Chargers with my brother. He's done great, and he's so ready. And I don't know. I really like the hire. I just think I understand the hire. There's a lot of speculation. Okay, what direction do they go? And I was following it. I'm interested, of course. And they bring in Jesse. I'm like, okay, I get it. Now the Ravens are still the Ravens in a lot of ways, and all the things that were built stand probably, and I think, Jesse will put his stamp on it, his personality, everything he does. It'll be Jesse Minter running the show, and he'll do a great job. And yet the values and principles go back through his time in Baltimore, Michigan, Baltimore, Chargers, and then back all the way to his dad, in Cincinnati, and following a couple coaches around that became head coaches in this league. It's crazy. How could you ever say that's going to happen? But that's the way God plans things. I mean, life goes in ways that you could, if people wrote it in a movie, nobody would believe it could even be true. And here it is. Fiction is stranger than reality. Is that the old saying?
Yeah.
So reality is stranger than fiction. There it is. There it is.
There it
is.
is.
Right. So, I'm proud of Jesse, and Mike Macdonald, same thing. I love Mike Macdonald just like I love Jesse. And Mike and I were side by side for many years in different roles as he grew his way through, and then coming back. Mike remind everybody that he took a lot of criticism for that hire when it happened. A lot of criticism. No, he's bringing his friends back. All that. Go out and hire somebody from the outside. Then we started off rough, and Mike stuck by his guns, and I stuck by my guns, and the rest is history. So some of these guys need to write those articles. About the I was wrong article that they forget to write. They need to write that article about Mike Macdonald. So I'm proud, man. I'm proud of those guys. Right. That's all I could say.
And I think it's a testament, though. You're not going to say this about yourself. I can tell this from my angle here. It's a testament to you. And I talked with Coach Newberry down at the Naval Academy yesterday, and I told him the same thing of who you want to surround yourself with. You want to surround yourself with high character people. Obviously, they got to be good at what they do, but it's a testament of how you want your staff to be. And to see it all come to the way it has, and for these guys to go and live their dream, it still comes back to you. Also, it does go back to Cincinnati. You're right. Haruki came on, and I was like, damn, wow. I wasn't aware of how many people it goes back to Cincinnati.
Yeah. Cincinnati's a hotbed, man. Go through. They got all the pictures up in there now. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Well, to flip this then, because I want to talk about your Giants real quickly to wrap this up, because it is the Giants. And you know what? Crazy to see some similarities here, okay? You have a young quarterback. There's a young quarterback in Baltimore here that's now become more of a veteran, but he had a big jump from year 1 to year 2, Lamar, and now you got Jackson. Now, one thing I got to ask you first and foremost, I've seen you dance in the locker room. You've seen Jackson dance. Do you think you're going to be able to match your young quarterback skill set there first and foremost?
I need a new move. I mean, I look at that clip sometimes. I'm just really disappointed in myself. I mean, I'm way better dancer than what I showed right there in that moment. That was pure emotion, pure joy with a victory. But no, I'm excited about Jackson. I mean, I really am fired up about him. He's coming in today. I'm talking to him today, and I can't wait to talk to him and just kind of get going with Jackson, because what a competitor. And Lamar, proud of Lamar, proud of what we accomplished together, proud of the quarterback he's become, and what he's done. And I know that his fire is still burning. His motor's still running hot, and he wants to go win a championship. And we were close, we were right there, and we didn't quite get it done. The ball, we didn't do it, whatever. But I don't have any regrets about that, because I felt like we were good for each other, and I really believe that we were the perfect match, really, at the right time, because, honestly, I believed in him. I believed in him from the beginning, and there weren't that many that did, and he knows that. And he believed in us. He believed in our plan, and he threw himself into it wholeheartedly, and always competed, always did his best. And I just appreciate that. And we did it once in 2019, set records, did it again in 2024, 2023, in 2024, 2025, set records. And now will be a new stage for him. And I think that's definitely the plan that Steve has in mind. And now let's get the next evolution of Lamar and see what can be done. And that's what they'll try to do there.
I feel like in some ways, Coach, you try to defend yourself of this. And I'll just say, for me watching it, the offenses were humming. And to see that as a fan, I'm so proud of what's accomplished. I know the standard in Baltimore is winning the championship. That's also because of what you guys built together over those years. It's special. Winning's hard. Big reason why you're brought in is to help bring that energy to New York and to try to create something where the Giants have this long storied history. I mean, it felt like this was a match made in heaven for you going to the Giants, closing of one chapter. The blue, you know what? I'll rep that powder blue when it's not you're facing the purple and black here. So if you get a size XL, I'll wear one. Okay, just to throw that out. But what's something then that people don't know maybe about with you with this Giants team? You got a nucleus. Just talking with Pat and Dion before this, they said, man, Harbs is bringing an energy, and it is contagious. Is there anything else that people don't know about John Harbaugh that is going to really help make this Giants team what I think, which I'm excited, is going to be one of the teams that people need to watch in 2026?
That's a great question, Ryan. I just think it all happens organically. I mean, I'm going to be who I am, and not be making any apologies for it, because, I love football, and I love my family, and I love my football family, and I love being around those guys every single day doing football, to the best of my ability, because that's what we do. And if I'm driving into work, I'm thinking about it. And if I'm driving home, I'm thinking about it. What am I thinking about? The team and how we can be better, and the players on the team. Or I'm thinking about my family, my wife and my daughter, and maybe I'm thinking about my brother sometimes. And that's about it. That's all I really think about. Definitely not about golf, as because I think you've seen me swing the golf club. So that doesn't get much attention. But
No.
we got a bunch of guys that want to be great, and we're going to go fight for it. That's it. That's all. There's no mystery to it. People have watched the Ravens for the last 18 years, and they know what to expect.
Yeah.
So that makes me kind of proud, because that doesn't just happen. It's not magic. It's not the building or the bricks or the stadium. It's not the uniforms. It's what goes into building teams. And so when people say, well, that's what we expect to see from a Ravens team the last 18 years, I'm pretty sure that that's what they'll expect to see from a Giants team. And that's what we plan. We don't plan to disappoint anybody. We plan to make sure that we give everybody exactly what they expect to see.
Well, I'm excited for it, Coach. I always, when I message you, I mean it. I am excited for you. I always want the best for you. You've been so good to us. You always got a place here in Baltimore, and you always will be a part of that with the Ravens. But I'm excited to see the Harbaugh era in New York. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And if it's okay, I'd love to pay a visit to you guys up there and see how things are running, if that works. But I ain't getting in the weight room with you. Come
on, man. Come on. Don't kid the fans out there. Don't kid. This guy's a legit athlete right here. This guy's a massively great athlete. So, no, man, but you and your family and what you meant to us and just the graciousness, your whole family. And it's just been unbelievable. And then the Baltimore people, man, I mean, we will always be a part of Baltimore. It's always going to be a big part of who we are and the friendships we have. Everybody out there knows us, the friendships that we have and how much we care about people there. And, hopefully I'll be welcome on a few of the golf courses in the future, right, left, go. Hey, I got a bunch of golf balls on golf courses all, around the area. So they're still in the weeds somewhere. I couldn't find them.
That I can imagine. Okay. So I'm going to work on trying to get the 5 bills or whatever the hell you're squatting in the, are you squatting like 450 still?
No, I mean, that's the certain type of a bar. The normal bar with the bar in the back, I could probably get about 275. You could do that in your sleep.
I don't know about that. Okay. You know what? All right. I will, one of these days, I will come out and work out with you up there in New York, and you're going to kick my ass, and that's okay. I'm expecting it. All right. But Coach, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
You got to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted now. Is that better? So that was John Harbaugh. For me, in ways, Zach, what I tried to mention, it is strange on a personal level. But I think everyone understands there's a move that it is the best thing moving forward for everybody. I love what he talked about with Jesse Minter and Mike McDonald. I love that he has all the appreciation for Baltimore because this organization and Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, they gave him an opportunity that allowed him to get to this position and make those moments. And I know that maybe right now it's fresh where people are really frustrated on, quote unquote, ruining opportunities to win or ruining the chance to win a championship. And that's how some people are going to feel right now. But I know in time, people are going to appreciate what was this era.
It'll all come back.
It'll all come back.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, sitting in on that interview, we both spoke with Harbs a little bit beforehand as well. Like, it's weird because you sit there and I'm hearing my coach and I'm seeing my coach, and then you look at what he's wearing and you're like, that's not my coach anymore. Like, it's so weird to see Harbaugh in that Giants gear, to look at him and hear him talking about, we, and that we is not Baltimore. It's the New York Giants. Like, that still is going to take getting used to. But, I said it on the show the moment Harbaugh got fired or they parted ways. This is going to be weird for a little bit.
No.
But trust me, in 10 years, Harbaugh's going to be back on that field at M&T Bank Stadium. He's going to be, inducted into the Ring of Honor, and he'll get a standing ovation, and we'll all sit around and talk about how incredible those 18 years were, because they were. Yes, you only got one Super Bowl out of it, but there are a lot of teams out there that haven't gotten one in their entire history. Yeah. So, getting one is getting one. It is one of the hardest things to do in all of sports. So it's just I hope that they will, I hope they will. It will. It's going to be one of those things where eventually down the line, everyone's going to look back at the John Harbaugh years for what they were, and that was a good time and a lot of wins.
And the reality of it too, man, this is the business of it. If the Ravens had won a Super Bowl with Harbaugh and Lamar together, wouldn't have this conversation. And he might probably still in Baltimore, one, but then two, when the Ravens win another Super Bowl. And I'm hoping Jesse Minter is going to be that coach that does it with Lamar Jackson. Then a lot of people are going to start to change that narrative in a short amount of time. But one thing's through and through all the issues that happened, John cares a lot about Baltimore. And I don't want people to lose sight of that. We just talked about how passionate people are in Maryland. I know people are passionate about their teams, but don't underestimate the passion that people have that put so much time and effort into trying to make special moments. And you could say you don't like it. Well, he's gone now. He is in New York. It's a new job. It's a new opportunity. But when I said in the interview about saying an energy that's infectious, just talking to a few Giants people so far, they're saying it's bringing something to them that they hadn't, that is a whole new level that for Giants fan, it gives them hope. And that's what John's trying to bring. So I hope the best for him, hope the best for the Baltimore Ravens. And when they play each other, the purple and black here, still going to have that in favor, so he can have all the luck up there with the Giants. Just not when they got to play that team down in Baltimore still. So, and if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe on Ron Ripken Show. We do this live Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. To close it out, Zach, because I meant to talk about it before. I was gassing Kyle Bradish up. Should I tear him down for a second?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of changes down there at the facility, at the complex at Smith Stadium in Sarasota. They got a putting green down there, right, Zach? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, new putting green. There's Bradish, Gunnar, and Zach Eflin testing it out. But I will say, some are using it as a putting green, how it's intended, and then Kyle Bradish is clearly chipping here. This is not a putt. That is a clear chip. This is someone working on his chipping game on the putting green.
Yeah. So, Kyle, we got to talk about this. Form doesn't look too bad. That's not the ball. Is that the ball at the bottom that's barely off the ground? Is that the one he hit?
There's no way. That's got to be. He's got to have a practice ball right there. Like, that's got to be an extra.
A minute. Can we go back? I don't know, Jim. Maybe. I'm hoping. Kyle.
Yeah, we're going to need confirmation. Going to need confirmation on that.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to figure that one out there. A kind of Brad, you got to figure this out. Because I got a lot of questions. Because now I take back everything I said about you being an ace and a top pitcher in baseball and all that and the whole spiel about how I have all the faith in the world in you. If that's your golf shot right there, then you know what? Season's over. Canceled. Call it a year. Just like that. So I digress, Zach. But he's a good kid. Bradish, you're a good kid. And you know what? Maybe we'll have some breaking Bradish brews down in Sarasota.
We're going to – yeah. Can we get him on that? We're going to need more of those. I say more of those. I haven't received one.
Yeah,
so
I'll get
on
those. That's kind of foul,
Yeah, for real.
It's kind of foul. And, he's not even wearing his hat right around. You know what? Just the whole thing. I got some issues.
Colin Coward would hate this. Just go say it.
He would. But you know what? All can be forgiven if we just have some brews. Breaking Bradish brews. That's all we need. That's all I'm saying.
Simple.
Simple. All right, sports. I think that's all we have. While you just talk for a second, I'll go to the other side and I'll cue the music.
Yeah. So, kind of as we said before, this is kind of a little bit of a down period. Obviously, baseball is starting back up, but then football ending, everything. I mean, the Olympics are going on. So usually we would take our break around this time of year, but, the content, we don't want it to stop. So we're keeping it rolling, maybe shorter shows over the next week or so, but we're going to talk about everything we can, everything you guys want us to. So thanks for sticking around and sticking with us in the, slower period before. Oh boy, it's going to be March before you know it. March Madness, baseball, and then we will be back on the marathon.
We'll be back rocking and rolling, man. The grind don't stop. We have a lot of things planned, and we appreciate all of you. So, again, hit that like and subscribe button. Brian Ripken Show. Appreciate you guys. And, Zach, that's all we got for today, right? Correct?
Yep. Cue the music.
As always here on the Ryan Ripken Show, we appreciate each and every one of you. As always, have a day, have a night. Come back and join us tomorrow. I think it's Thursday. The Ryan Ripken Show will be live right here on YouTube, X, and Facebook. See you guys.